Meeting coming to order. The 14th of February being taped by 58. First thing on the agenda is 359 Plymouth Street. Anyone here from 359 Plymouth Street?
The consultants are here for it.
Oh.
We're not presenting though. We're not the applicant, we're working for you.
Yeah, I think we're going to go over. We're just going over the peer review, right?
Yeah, 359 just...
Yeah, we're just going to go over the peer review
Just
on
to
the
kind of get an
359.
update, right, and see where they are with everything? Yeah.
Yeah, we were only waiting on
So no
the peer view.
no.
I'm surprised Paul's not here.
I don't know.
This side,
What do you got?
359.
Is the peer review, huh? Thanks.
Yeah, Paul's not here. He's on the phone.
Where's the cost estimates?
Don't worry about that. So we continue this, because Paul's not here, obviously, here. For Grady Consulting.
I would, because the peer review study's not back yet either. Or it would be in the folder. Only the cost estimate's in. And the cost estimate didn't come in till January 27th. So I would assume that we need to let Paul know too. So you want to contact Paul or have Kathy contact?
Yeah, we'll have that.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, we probably have a continuance on 359 Plymouth Street, because Paul's not here.
Yeah, I'll
To
make a
explain.
motion to continue 359 Pleasant.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye. Continue
Okay.
to 228,
He's a representative for Grady Consulting.
right, 228.
I'm sure we're working for the Conservation Commission, so we're here to comment on it, but we can't do that unless they show it first. Okay.
I apologize.
Thank you for coming in. We apologize. We didn't know that he wasn't coming.
Okay.
All right, next on the agenda is 0 and 314 Plymouth Street. Huh? Can you turn those towards the camera, please, Steve? Yeah.
0314.
If you have them, that'd be great. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't have color handouts.
That's okay. Medium-sized handouts are great.
I'm bringing back the last item, so I think it's
These are, I may hold on to this.
I don't leave home without them anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's the big box.
Oh, she has one. Steve, do you want the big one?
Maybe. It is a little tough to,
I'll do the small one if I have to look at the big one. I think you're gonna go page by page.
there we go, that's better. I like that.
I'm going to speak mostly from before, we're going to look at everything at the same time. I will spiel on what we're doing.
Yeah.
My name's Rebecca, I work at Silver Engineer, and I'm here to help Silver to design the drainage approval for the In case you didn't know what this was, this is opposite the Stop and Shop lights in between 314 and 330 Plymouth Street. We reconfigured the land at planning board in September to adequately have frontage on this new lot that goes about 400 to 500 feet to the rear where the storage facilities will sit. They are about 400 feet of typical driveway as you enter, 24-foot wide. And then at about the 500-foot mark into the site, you have parking and then the first building. And we'll be having 8 storage buildings, ranging in size from a 30 by 130 to a 30 by 160. And I'll have the applicant speak more about that as well. One of these is actually a 2-story building, and that is located furthest to the rear of the property. Actually, I'll show you. I'm sure it's going to show you.
Oh, well, look. Yeah.
We're going to carry the site with 8-inch water with hydrants strategically placed around the property. The property will be served by on-site septic, suitable for a minimal office. So I know at one point it was this huge residential thing and it didn't work, and it's just this tiny little office. The site is going to be surrounded by fence, and it happens to keep the trash out of the road. The dumpsters situated throughout the site. The work in the buffer includes grading, drainage, a little bit of pavement, and 2 sections of building. We do have some work in the 50-foot, which includes the work for a previously approved NOI that expired, and now we're trying to reincorporate it behind Mr. and Mrs. Elder at 344.
Would the NOI that expired, did applicant go in for an extension on that one?
We did not, and it did miss the COVID extension in COVID, so it expired in January 2020. And I know the COVID gave it was in March, so we did miss the extension last year.
Yeah, I think that you would need to put in the extension for that NOI because it is expired before incorporating it in. And
We're
us,
not trying to incorporate, we're trying to, I would assume, close out the old one as incomplete and pull it all into this notice of intent. So not to have 2 open notices, we would close the other one and it would be part of this work so that all closeouts would happen at the same time to ensure it gets done. So the stormwater part of this whole thing is going to be deep some catch basins, manholes, with your typical 7-4-bay drainage basin. Outlets are controlled with head walls with natural layers. Water quality is the 1-inch calculated through the drainage. Report that was also provided to the read it publicly. You have a swale on the north side that would take the street drainage around our drainage basin, so it does not actually enter. We're not taking the street drainage into our drainage basin. We will swale it around, and it would enter into the ditch that conveys the water down south to the country club. I can continue, or you can keep asking questions, whichever you prefer. It's not-
I know there's an intermittent stream over there, and I know that there's a culvert that is not on maps. And
There are a
I'm,
lot of culverts.
right.
Would you like to,
It, I am so sorry, I forgot your name, and I see you all the time, ma'am, because I know it's right next to your property. Mrs. Eldridge, I know it's right near Mrs. Eldridge's property, and I know there's a lot of work being done, and there's a lot of water management work being done right now with it. And it's a big concern for flooding, and I don't want to see the flooding added to.
which is why the work on the ditches is included in this site, so that they don't finish the site unless they finish the work on the drainage, including culverts and head walls and some maintenance of brush and stabilization. That's all part of this improvement. So the culvert that is there, I believe it comes from the Monmouth Street side, goes, we're going to replace that culvert with a new one, corrugated plastic, and just collect
Can you spin the map around real quick so we can have a better view?
So, the ditch, the culvert that exists, there's one section right here that we're gonna replace with a new, I believe it's only sized at 12 inches right now because it was only a 12 inch. And I know it only takes, well, it takes a lot, but it's going to increase in size once it hits this stretch because then it's going to take any additional flow from whatever they're proposing to do. And then it's going to enter into the ditch. Will need lots of maintenance. It will need cleaning and probably reshaping, probably some sort of riprap to stabilize the size and keep vegetation and keep the fabric, whatever the commission would like to see at that point. And then we're proposing the work in here to help direct the flow into the ditch furthest from Mrs. Alger into a drainage pipe 18 inch before it continues onward towards the Gulf.
Are you building that 18-inch or is it already there?
It's proposed as part of the mitigation to try to convey this water away. So this is all in green is all proposed.
It really needs to be done. I mean, if you've ever driven past Mrs. Elger's house after a bad rainstorm,
Yeah, it's a big puddle behind.
she's flooded out, and she takes, that whole area takes all the water in,
So-
from the way the roads are sloped and the way Dunkin's and everything
Oh,
is over
absolutely.
there.
So this site here is designed to maintain pre-development levels. So this basin is extra large to hold back the stormwater from the entrance. Okay, so any of the stormwater that's from this entrance is collected in 2 sets of catch basins, cleaned in our sediment core bays, detained to pre-development levels, so we're not adding and exacerbating the issues. And the same thing for the rest of the pavement in the buildings. They're collected through 18 catch basins and rain manholes as they are conveyed. Final pipe is about a 24-inch pipe before it goes sediment and detention. And again, moving the water away from the situation. This is our situation.
And where's the 50 feet? You're gonna,
So, if the green, I can't see it from where you are, but
no,
green grass is right at the 50-foot in here, and this is the only section that would be at the wetland line. Because you got a grade and square out of it.
Is there a way to get out of the 50-foot no-touch?
Not with the elevations that you want to move the water. By the time you get out of the 50, you are beyond, you're up the hill, up a slope from where you really want the swale to be, to move the water away from, the northern ditches that are on the property. And I do want to remind you, it was previously approved.
yeah.
What year was that?
2017.
I wasn't on the board yet.
Neither was I.
Oh. I did resign.
Sorry, can I just say something about the water and the road issues and stuff?
Sure.
Owner.
Sorry, can I say here, I don't know.
If you could come up and use the microphone, that'd be
Over
awesome.
here.
So,
Actually,
Microphone's right there.
yeah, yeah. Sorry about that. And then there's a gray button.
is it working?
I believe so. It goes,
Okay,
it
fine.
goes into the.
So the main concern well, one of the main concerns was what we do with, one, the existing water problem that exists in the Alger's property, plus any additional water that might be created by the site work. Where's the other one, I guess?
Whatever.
The one that shows more of the piping. We're proposing, obviously, that the club will maintain all of these ditches. But basically, where the main problem, where they have the flooding, is here. There's an existing 20-foot drain that goes over to the golf course. So what we're proposing is to maintain that and then run that, it goes underneath if you know the golf course at all, underneath the second fairway, the second tee box, and goes into our brook, which goes to is the main feed for all of our retention ponds. Then there's a second pipe that we're putting in. Well, this is a 20-foot open. The pipe that we're putting in goes from our property over to the other side. That's going to then also go underneath the fairway, so that all that water, basically all the water from here north, or whatever direction that is, from here up, which is what's causing the problem in the Aldridge yard, is going to go under the fairway into the open brook, which feeds the main pond. If you know the golf course, when you pull into the parking lot, there's the main pond on the left, which overflows then to the retention irrigation pond on the back. So we recognize that there's an existing problem there that's caused from whatever it's caused from. You know, there's been a lot of development on the street. We do have a large capacity, well, we have a capacity to take away large amounts of water because of the course. We use the water, obviously, as opposed to just pumping it up using an artesian well. It's always better to get as much water as we can into the retention ponds. We think by doing this, by maintaining and then cleaning out and making sure that the drain on this northern part of the property, or the northwestern part of the property, and the pipe that we're putting in at the bottom will take all that water.
So my question is, it's the country club is using the mosquito control project to maintain it right now, correct?
I'm sorry, I don't...
We just started using that availability. I think
So-
this is one of the first times that they've used it.
Right, and the country club has not maintained any of that for many years. And
Does not maintain which, this ditch here?
The culverts and the streams and other things. I've spoken to Russ and others at the mosquito control project.
Which streams? Are the streams on the golf course?
Yep, and the
Yeah.
culverts, and the hidden culverts, and the intimate stream that's there. I mean, the intimate stream's dry right now. However, that doesn't mean it's going to be dry in the spring, and I'm very concerned that there's an intimate stream on the property that's not listed on the maps.
Okay, but in any, I understand, once again, and I'm not going to speak about things I'm not that familiar with, but in any scenario, we're increasing the capacity to take water off of that property by a large, whether this goes in or not, like there's an existing problem with the water that's coming in from the storm runoff. We're going to increase capacity well beyond, because anything that's happening with our facility all comes down on this and goes through on the left side of the second hole, which goes into a different pond down here. All of this drainage up here is strictly just to remove what's existing now in the Alger property, because we don't believe any improvements we're making to the land increases the flow of water to their property, but we are taking that water and as putting in part of the, the new easements, if we can, to get, that we are going to, the club will maintain those. I can only tell you that I'm saying we'll maintain them. I can't, like, I've not been involved in the course forever. I'm telling you, I'm just telling you we'll maintain them.
And the first pipe that's already existing, is that taking a lot of water out? What's going on there? Is that
No.
helping the issue at all?
When you said...
Are you talking about this one up here, the one
Yeah, the
that's...
top, yeah.
So there's the 20-foot drain,
Yeah.
open drain, and then that goes to a pipe that goes under into the first fairway.
And that's the one that the mosquito control project's just starting to clear out. That has maybe a half an inch in there. It does not work at all. So the water problem, once the mosquito control project's done, will most likely highly improve without extra work being done, because it will be maintained in the first time in decades.
And when you say maintained here or here?
It's being maintained all the way down to the fire station and across the street. And the intimate stream will be maintained as well.
Okay, but that's just, sorry,
That's all.
but the one you're talking about, that's over here, right?
No.
On the golf course?
No, it's on Mrs. Alger's property.
Okay.
And they will be maintaining all the way down, because that's the proper way to do water management, is to maintain it all at once.
And then we're also proposing to add the second one, which will be a pipe. This will be enclosed pipe from here to here.
How long a stretch is that? Like, it's hard for me to look at.
20, I mean, how many feet? 400 feet, is that what you're saying?
The whole stretch of piping?
From here, just from here to here.
Yeah.
300.
What size?
What size pipe? What size
Yeah.
pipe is it, Rebecca? 18 inch.
It can be increased, it just requires some grading cover.
And obviously pitched properly and everything.
Yeah.
18
Yeah.
pitched
Yeah.
all the way. You got 296 from headwall to first manhole, and then manhole, which is why the manhole's there, 300 foot, and then another 200 feet to the bend before it turns down, heads towards that water hole.
Should we open up to the public, or?
With all their catch basins and the way they want the water flow and they're flowing into a natural stream, I'm just wondering if, as an order of conditions, if we should have them put, now that I want the word, I'm not gonna be able to think of it, coverings and filters in their catch basins and other things to
hoods are-
catch the road salt and other things, so
Hoods are in there.
it doesn't make it to the stream.
Yep, catch basins with hoods are automatic in ours.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you, but just to be clear, so once the water gets to the, it ends up in the retention ponds, you know that, right? It's not going out back to the Taunton River. It's,
My
It-
question, I'm sorry, back
Sorry.
to the town is, we can clean ours, but who's going to be cleaning the town's water that goes onto the site and into these ditches? Because right now it's uncleaned, unmitigated, and I have a swale keeping it from flooding ours.
And the highway department's gonna be required to put in hits and filters too now. So as soon as town meeting hits and they can get money for it,
Yeah,
and you can
inspect them.
ask Mr. Haywood about all the details, because that falls under him, but it's coming for all municipalities in the state.
Make sure they're cemented in, those hoods fall off really easily.
And you said, obviously you said you're gonna maintain. and like-
maintain all the,
Yeah, there's an operation and maintenance.
Yeah.
And there's a draft easement that's being circulated between the Alders and,
How much of an additional cost would it be for you to provide that report to us? Every time you maintain it, like, hey, we, ran through the pipe and, just to discover no blockages.
you can condition that as a yearly maintenance. or-
I understand, I just don't wanna put too much extra cost on it.
it's not, it's,
You know what I mean?
It's, if.
To
it
file a
depends on
report
how
every
long-
time it's maintained, and just to let us know, hey, and I understand we and you should be holding the town accountable as well for their own, and we're working on that. Some of us are real new here.
But I think we can, to answer your question, we can provide whatever information, however, once again, depending on how often, even if we just check and notice no obstructions or.
Right, because I'd assume I don't know how you would do that, run a camera down there.
Yeah, well, on the pipes, one thing, it's going to be easier to figure out if we're maintaining the ditches.
Yeah.
Because, but
Right,
at least
right.
the pipe, you'll know the water's flowing, it's less likely to get obstructed unless it's at the ends.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, maintaining the ditches will be something, I'm sure I'll know, but it's not maintained.
And you still need an easement. Has everything passed the Board of Health planning? Every other board, like,
No, this is the first stop. We had a special permit for the size of the two-story. We've actually reduced the size since it was submitted, but that's, and then we didn't make the cutoff for the planning board in Thursday, so they've continued it to March 2nd.
Yeah.
So planning board is March 2nd to hear the site plan review process. And then Board of Health, we haven't submitted to Board of Health just in case there's tweaks along the way. That's one of my last steps. But probably after the first planning board hearing, I'll submit to Board of Health and get their feel for it.
so, do you guys want to continue it until they go through all of the other boards? And they'll have an idea of what we want before we vote?
May I speak?
Yeah, go ahead.
I do recommend that we continue because we don't want you to close it and then have to come back for an amendment. But we would like to flush out any issues and concerns and now, so that, we can tell planning board, we met with you, you gave us your opinions, your thoughts, and then if there's plan revisions, we can tell them.
Our opinions and thoughts can change depending on what
Yes.
planning board votes and says on top of the ZBA. Because previously, everybody usually goes through planning and the ZBA first and conservation last.
We tried to do that, but you were understaffed at the town hall, so it didn't work.
No.
Hi,
Yeah,
Chris
Steve,
Peterson, I work with the owner. We actually submitted to the ZBA since we needed a permission for the use as self-storage. they said, hey, we're the last person you need to talk to. So we started the whole process and did the entire site plan to go before you guys and the planning board for the site plan first. So as long as we understand what your process is, we can follow it, but we'd like some clarity on what that's supposed to be.
The planning board usually go through them, then through us. But you just want our input, leave it open right now. But
Yeah,
I
so-
would like it to open up to the neighbors right now, and I'm sure there's plenty of concerns. Yeah, please go up to the mic.
Yeah, well, I'd like to,
Okay.
okay, Bill Alger. So we have the swale that goes in between our land
Yeah,
and their land.
yes.
The swale is,
This is your land, and this is your
Yeah.
land, so this is...
okay, the swale right here,
Oh, the proposed bill?
the proposed swale that goes in back of the bank.
Yeah,
Now, they're gonna take 20 feet of our land.
Easement.
So can we move it into the wetlands that has been created by the town because they dump in water on the land? Can we bring it, because this was all farmland, we had corn there.
Yeah, his flooded property is not listed as a wetland on the maps, though.
Perfect then. Then we can move it over
So you don't want to give them the easement, you'd like to see them moved back
onto
20
their
feet
land.
off of your property.
Exactly.
So-
If can be,
Well, no matter what our vote is...
if it's not wetlands.
Your wife and you don't need to give them an easement if you don't want them on your property.
This is the 20
Yep.
that we're asking them for, and he's asking that we go this way.
And you've got this marked as, on that, that's not actual wet,
No.
right? That's never been delineated.
It's never been a delineation of wetlands, that's all floodland.
So I'd actually, by moving it over and not allowing, by him not giving them an easement and them putting the swale there, it will,
Just move the swale over onto their property.
not necessarily, I mean, I agree, I understand your perspective, it being your property, their property. It might actually do more to mitigate the drainage problem that's been created by
Definitely do that.
the previous construction, if you move it right over into that not a wetland.
But the commission has to say it's okay. Because
Well-
that not a wetland isn't approved at one point in time.
I mean, I don't, every map I can see, it's not delineated, and it's never been delineated as a
It's
wetland.
never been a delineated
By
wetland.
the DEP, correct, yes. But unfortunately, there's a history of the town that says this was...
It's,
How long ago was that you were able to use that?
it's,
What's that?
That you had corn growing there?
Well, we were farming it, what, in, it was 70s?
Okay.
it was still farmland in 2006, 2010.
Yeah.
When did the real water problem pop up? When it was just too wet to use?
Well, when the bank came in, they had a problem with their retention pond, and they were made to improve it a little bit, I don't know.
As Halifax has developed, more and more water just comes this way, so even the street drainage.
And
Yeah.
now,
It's-
what we're concerned is more and more above us, is we don't mind it coming through, we just don't want it on us.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if you've ever driven by, they have the house directly across from Dunkin' Donuts with the little farm stand.
Yep.
And they flood out, like flood out.
Yeah.
It's bad. And it's even more horrid during downpours and things. It looks like the ocean's going down
Yeah.
their driveway.
And then it
they-
sits.
They get some rough water
Yeah,
in
no
the back
problem.
a few feet. But it's not listed on the town as delineated, and
Nope.
it's not listed with the DEP.
Nope.
I just triple checked it.
This here would help.
I mean, previously, they
I'd be
could have
amenable to
been
that.
trying
You gotta ask.
The property is wet flood,
That's okay.
as
That's all
wetlands,
right.
but it's not
This is where the
officially
bank
listed.
is, right here.
So is that
Yep.
in the commission?
And this is,
Allow it.
we're talking,
And that's your house.
Pushing it?
no, that would be Sturdivant's way up above.
I'm
us.
leaning towards
There's
that,
no
but I want to look into it more legally and make
Was.
sure it's not
Yeah.
wetlands
Kinda,
on any books at all.
It's
The
not
red
listed
building
anywhere.
is right in that area.
right.
Is that one of our goals here is to try to, or to, not try, but
how
to
high
help
is
with the
that
amount
swale
of water
gonna be?
that's going in there.
Well,
It seems like everything's
I mean,
ending up
it's-
there.
I'm just,
We're trying to, when we designed ours, obviously we're trying to be all of our water
You know, if
right
it's
to
not
the golf
wetlands,
course.
and move it onto
Go
their
from there.
property, because this is really.
The existing
nothing to
issues
do
that exist
with
here
us,
between-
except for the water.
and this is your property
Maintaining
line, or
this
this is your
better
property?
than we have.
Yeah, is there a written legal agreement between you guys and the golf course yet?
There was a former one that is still in effect for the existing.
I think so.
And then they're
Yeah.
drafting, there's a draft.
Okay, so this is their property right here.
For the next step.
One discussion at a time, please.
Sorry.
So it's drafted. It's not signed, it's not sealed, it's drafted, and we're going to go back and forth a couple times. Next-
So I'm not comfortable voting until everything's finalized, because it wouldn't make any sense for the commission to vote without everything being finalized and before you go in front of planning.
I agree.
But if we do find that there's nothing on the books anywhere, because many times, especially when the Clean Water Act changed and the Wetlands Protection Act and all of those things, I mean, a venom pool could be spotted, and towns were trying to say that it was a wetland, but they were never delineated. And I'm 99.99% positive that's not delineated. It's not on the town website, it's not on DEP's or EPA's is delineated. So if it's factual and Ed and Kathy do find out that it's not listed anywhere, I'd be for moving it back 20 feet, because it doesn't sound like the neighbors want to give you the easement anyways.
It makes more sense to use the lowland that we have rather than create lowland
It does.
to move the water.
I agree with you.
So, yes.
So even if it's not delineated, Ed, would they need a special permit to do so? Would they, from us, or can we just have them? Do you know?
Well, go ahead.
Well, my thought was, we can say that delineation is different, or maybe you need to do a, what else can we do? Would it be a special permit, or just a variance to do work? Would we have to do replication if this is shown, DEP?
Well, if it was wetlands, you'll have to do replication, but we're not, she's pretty sure it's not, so you
I'm
won't
pretty
have
sure
to.
It
it's
has it,
not.
and they didn't say anything, so
And-
there's no comments.
Steve looked it up too. and
Yeah, I
he's
looked it up
pretty
on
sure.
on the
Yeah.
CIS. I didn't see it. It doesn't. So
Have,
I think it's just,
have you guys ever had anyone come out and tell you that your property's wetlands? Do you get two tax brackets, two tax bills?
No, they don't have
No.
wetlands, so they won't.
No.
right.
No.
So,
If you have wetlands, the town will give you a lower tax rate, so no. Yeah.
Nobody gets a lower tax rate.
no, but it
I
is,
know.
it's one way
Yeah, I
to
know.
come, because it's her yard in the back that's being
Right.
considered as.
Yeah.
So if there is two tax bills, it's just an easy way to find out if there's really wetlands or not.
Okay, as of right now, I have no problem with the plan. Can you make a plan with that moved over?
Yeah.
Go in front of planning, then come in front of us again. How's the neighbors feel about,
Moving the swale onto their property.
Moving the swale.
yeah,
Perfect.
Okay.
You know?
And then the other thing that we want to make sure is we have the easements in place between the golf course and the proposed storage facility, correct?
yes.
Yeah, and any agreements for maintenance and things like that with the golf course and other.
If you want to,
You might want to ask too if the mosquito control project's just going in there one time, or if it's going to be one of their annual jobs that they go out and do twice a year.
and then do you want to just, do you want us to just propose to you in terms of what feedback we'll be giving you in terms of how we're inspecting and maintaining?
Yeah, we would
That-
like a
yes.
plan, how you're gonna keep it up, like, annual report sent to us. Yeah,
Yeah, and where the mosquito control project's doing it, if you talk to Russ or anybody like that, they might be able to help you with it because they're already there, they've already done it, they've already walked it. They've walked 359 and they maintain all the way down to the fire department too.
So my question is, do they provide you reports on what they've done?
The mosquito control project, it's all online. And I know, I'm a former commissioner for them, so I know the ins and outs of it, and I keep telling people about it, so they'll not spend an extra money because your taxes are already
No,
paying
definitely,
for it.
but
So,
everything is posted online and what they've done and how they've maintained and...
not usually. They use a lot of GIS, they use a lot of hand-managed, some machines and other things. I know they have applications coming in front of us for another property, at either our next February meeting or the beginning of March, so I know that they have machine work coming up. But they do a lot of hand clearing and a lot of different
Alright.
things, so.
Okay, I think we all
Thank you.
have a good idea what's gonna happen. I say we put a continuance on this till March 14th, which will be our next, after you see
Yeah, our next meeting
the planning
after
board
you
on the
decide.
2nd. So our next meeting will be the 14th.
Do you have a card on you? Because I can email Russ and you and say, can you please work with her, blah, blah, blah. They were in front of conservation if you'd like.
All right,
All right, so we're
I put a
gonna,
motion, someone put a motion for continuance to March 14th.
motion to continue 0 and 314 Plymouth Street to our March 14th meeting.
Second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you.
Okay, there is that, I don't know where that went. I'm gonna hold on to the small plan.
I'm gonna call Russ again, too.
All right, let's go on to our 7:20, which is running late, we apologize. 30 Orchard Circle.
This answers my question. It's under me, though. I am taking minutes.
Where's the folder for this? Where's the folder for 314 and 0? So I'm gonna hold on to the small plan for myself.
I need it for the minutes.
So who did the site visit on 127? For this one? Who did the site visit for this one?
30 Orchard?
Yeah, it
Oh, we
says,
already did it.
yeah, that's what I mean, who did, you guys both did it, okay, cool.
And Kathy went by last.
There's
How'd it go?
two of these. Do you mind if I take this one home and read it, because the same one's in the box?
Yeah, no problem. Just make sure you bring it back.
How we doing?
Hello again.
Stephen Ryder, Land Planning for the record.
Hi, how are you?
How are you guys?
Good.
So we're referring,
Orchard.
yes, sir, thank you.
No problem.
Anyone apartment edition?
Yep.
The last meeting, we want to take a look at the trees that were proposed to come down, as well as the location of the addition they were proposing. So we went up there on Friday, I think Jim and Ed were both there for that meeting. Had a discussion with the owner's father, who was there as well, was going to be moving into the addition as well. So we staked out the back corner, which is the nearest corner to the wetland area, still in the grass lawn area.
Yeah.
And we also staked out a location that would have shown what we would have to do to get that out of the 50-foot buffer, which is to move it another 8 feet or so forward, and would affect losing the farmer's porch in front of the house. And even that, both of those stakes were both within the lawn area. So we are proposing, based on the discussion we had at the last meeting, is to remove the patio from the back of the dwelling, and the in-law addition is going to be strictly on the first floor, so that they're not going to be using, they're going to have a need for a patio down below. So that patio was located about 43 feet from the wetland, so we've now gone back from 43 feet to 46 foot for the addition itself.
Okay.
And we have no, since we have no need to put a grass area around the patio, just for getting back and forth around it, we don't have to go further into the tree area. So the siltation control is moved back to the edge of the trees. So no disturbance within the tree area except for the proposed trees that we want to take down for safety of the structure.
Yeah, on the site visit, I also went out there with Kathy a couple of days after that. There's a couple of trees in the far left-hand corner in the wetlands, that looks like they wouldn't affect anything at all. I think they only like 5 feet, 10 feet high, and you have the marked as removed. We don't want those ones removed because they're so far out. We don't see there's a need for it.
So we can designate it as 15 trees and the
Oh, yeah, the trees you marked, except the far two left ones we have concerned about.
Yeah, those are the same two we talked about, because they were baby
I mean, as
trees.
time goes on, if those trees grow inordinately tall, they can come back and ask if they become a danger to the structure, obviously.
Yeah.
But as of now,
And the way we obviously looked out the area, everything drains off nicely. This proposal won't affect the drainage or affect the wetlands at all.
septic plan was approved by the Board of Health?
Yeah, so the septic plan went in early last week. I got a call from John Leno, he reviewed it, and he's stamped his approval on it. And
Great.
so they're gonna be, I think it's tomorrow night that they actually have the meeting to approve it, so.
All right.
So with the order of conditions, all the boards and other things, make sure that the leaf pile's no longer, as we discussed.
Oh, you're gonna put blueberries also, right?
Kept in the, no more leaf piles in the grass and the clippings and things in the wetlands anymore. That's moved. The planting of rerouting vegetation, whether it be blueberry bushes or whatnot, and then
Yeah, so we're proposing that actually on the plan. It's written in a note to replace whatever trees are removed to grant in their place, basically.
awesome.
Isn't it to it if we can? But
Yep.
we'll leave the stumps there.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
Perfect.
that's perfect.
All right, can I have a proposal for approval of the notice of intent at 30 Orchard Circle?
I make a motion to approve the notice of intent for 30 Orchard Circle with the conditions that they replant with the blueberry bushes, the grass and the clippings are moved out of the wetlands, and as long as the Board of Health, the Planning Board, ZBA, and all other boards are in approval of the project.
All right, do we have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Awesome, thank you. All right, next on the agenda is 7 Heron Road. Anyone here from 7 Heron Road?
Okay. Do we need to make a motion to continue it, or do we just take it off the agenda?
Motion to continue it.
All right, I make a motion to continue 7 Heron Road to our February 28th meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Moving right along.
All right, now we're on to our discussions. 30 Ocean Ave.
31 Ocean Ave came to the agenda because last meeting I was asking questions, and
Yep.
it wasn't on the agenda, and I know the public wants to know about the court case, and then and he has plenty of time, he has till April for the order of conditions, so.
Yeah. The court case I'm not sure of. I think he paid a small fine. I think it was $200-300. I thought I heard that, but that's all I heard about the court case.
Yeah, I haven't gotten any.
You want to continue it till Kathy's here then?
Yeah, because I haven't heard anything from Kathy, and
All right, so you want more
She had
information
surgery,
about
so-
31 Ocean Ave?
Yeah, a
Sec-
motion to,
I'm sorry, I thought he did.
No.
Sorry.
he's chairing the meeting. Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion to continue the discussion about 31 Ocean Ave to our 2/28 meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
What's this? Inter-office memos, other town correspondence to review, comment, planning board? What's this in regards to?
In the office mail, Ed.
Well, this is the thing we just discussed, the 100 Country Club Drive, the mosquito control project. Here's the mosquito control on the golf course.
I'm gonna read it in.
You don't have to read it if you want. It's fine, but-
This is from the Plymouth County Mosquito Control Project, job number UP 1323, 100 Country Club Drive, Town of Halifax, Deer Conservation. Plymouth County Mosquito Project is proposing a ditch maintenance project near 100 Country Club Drive in compliance and accordance with Chapter 252 of the General Laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Our goal is to restore the ditch to the original dimensions in order to provide adequate water flow. This will help alleviate some mosquito breeding in the area and help water to flow more freely. Some trees and shrubs may have to be removed in order to allow access for the excavator. Spoils from the ditch will be spread as thinly and evenly as possible. Our experience shows that within one growing season, the work area returns to an attractive vegetated state. Although exempt from the Conservation Commission's jurisdiction, we welcome the opportunity to address any concerns that the Commission may have in regards to the proposed activities at this site. Please feel free to call me at the number listed above. If we do not hear from you in 30 days after the date of this notice, we will assume that there are no concerns and work will tentatively commence thereafter. Matt McGee, Assistant Superintendent, and he includes the site plans, and 30 days has already passed, because this is from January 5th. And this is, they've been maintaining the property for a long time.
Yeah.
So, do you want to see it?
Yeah, I mean,
Brought the site.
take a look at it online. I had somebody else send it to me. I don't have a problem with anything that they're doing down there. They've been doing a great job. Like I said, I'm sure they had budget shortfalls and everything. It'd be nice if they could, do it more often, but they're going to bring it back to the original, so.
It's better to have it maintained and not, and yearly they do the fire department,
Right.
South Street, Carver Street. They do have a lot of annual dig jobs in other areas
Yeah.
that they do.
No, it's,
I mean, we can ask them for a list for the next agenda if you want.
maybe.
You weren't on the board yet, and it was the one meeting that was not recorded when the American Mosquito Control Association Regional Director and the Plymouth County Superintendent came into conservation and explained
Nice.
everything they do for water management versus what people just think what they do for
Right.
pesticide use. It's a great resource for the town to have and others.
Yeah.
If it falls into Chapter 252 and what the Army Corps of Engineers allows. So, we're all good?
Yeah.
Are you good with the mosquito control?
Yeah.
one?
Yep.
Excellent.
All right, I don't understand what's going on. This, we just already discussed 0314 Plymouth Street. Why are you
Yep.
on page 2?
It's got to go, I assume it's got to go in front of planning again because they have a two-story.
Yeah.
I think they
self-storage.
mentioned the...
Yeah.
They mentioned that because they had changed the dimensions, that they needed to do that.
All right. 0 and 592 Plymouth Street, revised site plan, grading and drainage.
I'm surprised Mr. Steele's not here. I don't see him. I'll go in the other room and see if they're in
I
there.
don't think he's here because he's open.
Everybody might have hot dates tonight and might have blown us off.
All right, I assume we just open up for discussion in general or on this?
Everybody's against it. And they-
Okay.
I mean, without them being here, does it make sense? Because they're not gonna hear the public's comments. But I don't wanna make the public come back 100 times either.
No.
I wish they were here, because I'd really like to walk the property. I'd really like to go out and see it again.
All right, we need permission to go on someone's property, so
That's why I wish they were here.
we wish they were here.
I would. I'd like to go and see with my own eyes different photos and different things I've seen.
They're not here to discuss the revised site plan about the grading and drainage.
The original home, like you didn't show up for everything, and you just shot it down, you didn't understand.
This is just a discussion. This is,
She's not wrong, though. They never show up.
They never show up.
I have no-
I've only seen him once, one meeting.
Is this the one next to the red house?
Yeah.
I know he's,
Supposed to do a traffic study, the field of vision,
yeah.
so they can see all the cars that are not gonna let them pull up, or us.
But I think the last time they were in front of us, they were talking about they want to get everything all set with all the other boards before they come back in front of us.
And they had, well, the last time they were in front of planning, if I'm not mistaken, they needed to add a parking spot. And I think that's where it was left off, and then I think they needed to go to zoning too.
Yeah.
And then we had wanted them completely out of the 50-foot no touch.
This was the proposed,
Office building, I think.
no, wasn't it the landscaping place they were gonna store stuff?
No,
up?
that's 359.
359.
Excuse me, hold
This
on.
one's not
One discussion. Yeah. Go right ahead. Can you speak up to the mic? 'Cause-
You need my name and address and everything, or?
Sure.
Dave Rossini, 6 Deer Run Road. I thought they needed I'll call it a variance going back into...
The
what?
50.
The 50, because it's wet back there. Well, not maybe all the time, but it gets wet.
I think it was to the last meeting where he was to the right of the property was about parking spaces.
It's a delineated wetland back there.
And he was talking about getting out of that zone to move the parking spaces, but obviously he has to go in front of planning
Yeah.
to move those, and then he comes in front of us again to tell us if he still wants to try to go inside the 50.
Yeah.
But,
Kathy and everyone had a
Yeah, there was a push-
lengthy list of order of conditions that they had to go back with to work with planning before they could come back to get approved from the full board. Do you have anything on this one, Chris?
No, listen to it, just...
You guys have other, do you have other issues besides the sight line coming in and out of there?
Yeah,
That
because
you'd
the
like to-
traffic study's not us.
Right.
Building right there, it's just kind of look a little out of place.
The traffic removal.
Well, the traffic, that's not really us either, and the out of place, I don't know how close that is. You may want to bring it to the attention of the historical commission,
Yeah,
because if that's part of your issue, the way it looks, the aesthetics of it, you know, unfortunately, that's not for us to decide. But there is a board in town that handles that, potentially, depending on where it is, depending on how close it is.
I think they did look into the matter from previous meetings, like selectmen meeting, I heard.
I think so, too.
Chris Williams, 129 Circuit Street. I got a question, like, if they don't show up to you guys, how do you get your concerns and stuff, like, back to the planning board before they have to make a decision?
Do we requested their appearance today? I don't believe so, I'm not sure.
They knew that it was being extended till today. They knew it was continued. Everything on our agenda with people that hadn't shown up knew from our last meeting it was continued till today. I'm telling you, everybody has a hot date tonight and didn't come in. Which obviously we can't do anything about, we're here. So, but they're not wrong, they never come in. At this point, I wouldn't even continue in it, I'd just take it off the agenda, and if they need to refile for things, so
I don't want to do that because I don't know what the situation is on that personally, because I have it pretty much, what is it, under discussions pretty much? And if we have a notice of intent, they'll obviously show up in front of us. And I think we told them, we gave the impression that, okay, once you get everything set in front of the planning board, then come from us again. So I think they've done everything
put it
what
on
we
for
asked.
28, and maybe there might be an update. Because maybe it's on tomorrow night's agenda for planning.
I have no idea, but
We can just put it on the agenda for the 28th.
sure. I put a motion to continue this?
I put a motion to continue 0 and 592 Plymouth Street for the revised site plan to our 2/28 meeting.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye. Frustrating.
Zoning Board of Appeals, 359 Plymouth Street.
You skipped 416 Plymouth Street.
Oh, I apologize. 416 Plymouth Street, site plan, open air, commercial use, distribution memo.
There's gotta be one in the mail now.
There's nothing in the mail on that. I think these are just meetings. Meetings, yeah, nothing on this.
This is all for us to sign. This is just all the new ethics laws
Great.
and all that legal stuff from legal and from Peggy and from Sue.
Do you see anything for 416? I don't.
Is there anything in there?
I looked in the blue one, that was the one we were really looking for. That's the mosquito.
That's just the mosquito control.
Yeah.
This is from Mass Wildlife. This one's different. And that's just the Stormwater Solutions magazine. Dave's gonna want that. It's not in here. And I don't remember getting it emailed to me, Ed. Do you remember getting 416 Plymouth emailed to you?
No, you want me to read this in? You want me to just keep this?
Oh, you can keep that, that's from,
I like that.
So we don't have a site plan, so I want to move on from 416?
yeah, that's presents from Fisheries and Wildlife.
Zoning Board of Appeals, 359 Plymouth Street.
They just need a special permit to develop the proposed site for contractor storage and office space. But they already knew they had to go in front of the Board of Health, the ZBA, and planning. So 359 Plymouth, another one that we're just waiting to continue to go through all the proper boards.
I think we had had some suggestions for them. We had questions about, because that's the landscape they had.
Oh, yeah.
We had talked about, where are you
salt
going to store things, and
Yeah.
we had said absolutely not. You have to store everything inside, so we need
Yeah.
to see a plan for that.
And
And
a
I
plan
think I had said something about, I know a lot of times they wash out their trucks and they can't be doing that, and so I think that they were supposed to come, like you said, they're supposed to go before zoning and then come back to us.
And they couldn't store salt in a three-sided building.
Right.
It has to be fully
Special-
enclosed.
Fully enclosed, and a whole bunch of other state and federal law that goes with it, so. And and we had voted, I went to that planning board meeting, and it was all laid out, and I had talked to Brendan. So the planning board's 100% aware for 359 Plymouth Street. There's been a lot of communication between the boards.
Any concerns, I'm not too familiar with it, any concerns about wetlands or?
A teeny bit of them are in Zone 2, and they abut the Morse Brothers, and Morse Brothers was concerned about being able to sell their berries and runoff. And then there was another hidden culvert back there that caused the other neighbors drainage and wetlands problem. But after research, we found that it was actually a Morse Brothers property. And now the MCP and Brandon are working together with Scott, and the neighbor. That's all lovely and well and good. They're doing what they need to do to fix that issue. And then hopefully we'll continue to work with the owner of 359 and make sure that there's no more extra unnecessary disturbances. But we haven't gotten that far yet.
Just a quick question, I'm asking Mr. Carroll. So you're discussing that property now, those two people that were here earlier were here to discuss that property. What was?
They weren't here for 359 Plymouth. They were here for another property.
Was it Highland, was it the?
They were here for Highland Circle.
Orchard Circle.
He mentioned 350, he mentioned that.
The 7 o'clock one was 359.
Oh, yeah, we had a big discussion about, but this is just I don't know why this
He's
is.
saying he can't speak because the other people weren't here.
Right, Paul wasn't here.
Paul wasn't here for that.
They were, there's a, like that, right, they were supposed to reflag those wetlands back there and all that stuff. And like I
Yeah,
said,
the details can't be done till Paul's here. This is under discussions with the zoning board of appeals and what they're looking for. It's part of the discussion on the agenda. Interoffice memos that go out to the boards for discussion and to make sure that everybody, well, in hopes that each board communicates and catches it, especially where we're short-staffed.
Yes, I was at the meeting last night, so there were a bunch of questions. Like you said, small, one of the ones I raised was landscape usually got callous for restricted use pesticides, a lot of callous of it, and they were kind of,
Skirting around it?
we don't use pesticides. We have another company that does our lawn care, but then maybe there will be some pesticides, but then that will be indoors.
yeah.
Taryn's in Halifax a lot. If they don't follow the rules, Taryn will catch them from MDOT. I mean, the inspectors live really close. I mean, it'd be really unwise to do in southeastern Massachusetts.
All right, let's move on from 359.
Yep.
Yeah, it needs to be continued again till all.
Yeah, we already have a continuation.
Yeah, we,
All right, other correspondence. Oh, perfect timing for Valentine's Day. Halifax sexual harassment policy and signatures.
it's in here, signature page is in here. It's like a page, I just read it. And then conflict of interest, there's a copy in there for each of us. So I signed my signature sheet. And then there's a copy for each of you.
Yep.
There we go. The sexual harassment one is there. The bills are there already, as you can tell.
Did you grab your sexual harassment policy?
Oh, no, I didn't see that there were multiple in there. Okay, I figured it'd be coming in an email. Thank you. Perfect.
Yeah.
We just did all this at my actual job.
Here's a hard copy.
Every state agency sends them out at the same time.
Where's the signatures?
And this one is for,
So, here's my conflict of interest signature page. I'll put that in the back. Well, actually, I have these Post-its are on, stuff for mine.
sexual harassment. I can't send her my certificate for work.
No, I can't either. I guess there's probably a copy there for Kathy, too.
Yeah, we can keep Kathy's in the folder.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure there wasn't anything else attached to it, so that's hers. And then here, we'll do this. So that, put hers on top, so that she can come in and sign it.
The 12th month again. February, honest to
It's the second month. Dinner's at 8, I'm late.
And we need a motion to pay bills.
Make a motion to pay the current bills?
And the only bill that Miss Peggy has for us, it looks as, is office supplies from W. Mason for $170.68. And that is all I see in front of us.
Yeah. That's all I saw.
Yep. A motion to pay,
But at some point, motion to pay the bills.
of WB Mason, $170.68.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I was asking about the minutes. And this was, when I sat down, was there. It's, so. So. This is Kathy's copy. This is
Kim, what's this in regards to?
meeting minutes.
Do we have anything to sign on meeting minutes?
No. We just have answers now.
All right.
We're perfect. All right, so am I bringing these
All right, these here signatures.
signatures? And all the Steve's signatures are in here? All right. I will bring these to Peggy tomorrow.
Okay.
And
These are going to Peggy tomorrow.
do we have to do a meal folder? We went through the meal folder.
We already did the mail folder.
Okay, we reviewed the signed minutes. Minutes back here?
There's been one thing in minutes in the folder for a long time, and we have not had the correct board members here to vote on them.
Maybe it's still,
It still might be the case.
yeah, it's Catholic.
This is the,
But here's the minute, meeting. This thing says minutes. Nothing is signed yet.
no.
All right.
We'll have
Someone put a motion to adjourn? You.
Make sure meeting minutes make the next meeting, because I've been taking notes and I didn't type them because we've been waiting for answers.
Okay.
So now they're just my chicken scratch draft form on the bulletin board at the office at home. And I can't read my chicken scratch, so I won't do it to you guys. I'll type them.
Okay, make a motion to adjourn.
Second? Kim, second.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No, I want to